Hello, hello. This music is like almost obnoxiously loud. Can you guys even hear me? I can't tell if no one's answering because you're just not chat people or because you didn't hear me. Hey, and is that Milan? I think it is. If I'm right, that's your Instagram handle. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you can hear me. I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing. How you doing, Milan? Thanks for coming by. So, drawing Loki, obviously, it had to happen. Drawn 2 Lokis, to be exact. Which Lokis, though? One is maybe a boring choice in that they're not particularly obscure. The other one might actually also be kind of a boring choice just because I feel like a lot of people beat me to it. But doing it anyway because I wanted to. If I'd really been on the ball, I would have done Loki last week because my stream day lands on the night that it drops. But I wasn't thinking ahead, and I wanted to do Black Widow while she was still relevant, and, you know, shit happens. Thanks, Milan. You been watching Loki? Are y'all caught up on Loki? I'm trying to decide if I like this pose. I think I do. I've watched it and really liked it. I think it's my favorite of the Marvel shows so far. See what you did there, Parker. Also, hi, Parker. Okay, so you could probably guess from the anatomy you see here that I'm doing like Lady Loki / Sylvie. I'm actually undecided still as I draw this if I'm going comic book version or TV show version. I'm leaning towards comic book version because I think there's a bit more going on with the design. But I'm undecided on this pose still. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit stiffer than I want. I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit. Probably put that in more or less the same spot still. I think it's not going too far. I think I'm just going to exaggerate it a bit more, really. Are you a Marvel fan in general, Milan? I think I might combine designs, actually. Might make the most sense. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. I think I got it. I think I got it. I am definitely a fan, yeah. Been watching from the beginning. The cool thing too is like all the movies collectively, they work like a huge giant budget TV show, and you definitely get more out of it. I think if you've seen them all, which is maybe also a bit of it to its detriment because it makes it harder for people that didn't jump in the first wave to kind of get caught up, because it is a pretty big undertaking. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan. And I think Parker here would consider himself a fan also. By the way, Parker, Mulan is in term 5. Just had our last collab class with the writers and comics class today. Parker is a VFS grad himself, Milan. Alright, I think I'm good with this pose. Well, maybe not quite. Hang on. Just messing around a little bit. Change my mind again. I take it back. This one's got more than average eraser marks on it. Favorite character's a tough one, I guess. I mean, I am pretty partial to Iron Man, I guess. Partly because he's the first, partly just because Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is so good in it, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought Captain America would be high on the list, but especially after Winter Soldier, which is maybe one of the best ones, pretty high. Rocket Raccoon's cool just because he's a fucking raccoon. Yeah, it's hard not to like Rocket. Just I like his smarmy attitude too. That's why it's Bradley Cooper's voice, and I always forget it's Bradley Cooper. I feel like on screen he kind of turned into much more like serious roles in more recent years, and you feel like he's kind of put the action movie type stuff behind him, and then you're like, oh no, but wait, he's Rocket. I forgot he's Rocket. Yeah, he does it very well. So which ones have you seen, Malin? And of those, what would rank your favorite? Okay, I think I got something here. Hey, Michelle. Okay, so if it's not obvious already, I can't remember if I know I said it looks obvious. I don't know if I actually said who it is. But yeah, I'm doing Lady Loki, aka Sylvie. I'm going to do a combination of her TV show outfit and comic book outfit. Probably leaning a little bit more towards the comic, I guess. Just 'cause there's just more stuff going on. But we'll do a little bit of both. It might be. It might be. Guardians is pretty high up there. I think okay, I feel like Avengers are a category on their own because they're like it's just they're so big, you know. So I think I would go original Iron Man and Captain America and Winter Soldier as what I think are the best two standalone movies, but then I kind of put Guardians in like an extra category as well because they feel like a totally different franchise almost. Because I also love Guardians, but it almost just feels weird to combine them. It actually annoys me sometimes when they call them a superhero movies because they're. If Guardians of the Galaxy is a superhero movie, then so is Star Wars, you know? Based on a comic doesn't immediately mean superhero. Existing in a universe that has superheroes doesn't mean superheroes. Remind me, Michelle, I can't remember. Have you seen any of Loki yet? Or you saw the one because you worked on the one episode, right? But you haven't watched any of the actual show yet? Let's exaggerate these horns. Chantel? Are you gonna watch the rest of them, Michelle? Think you're gonna brave it? Loki's a weird one because I feel like if you're just into like sci-fi-ish kind of stuff, you could probably enjoy Loki even without knowing the other movies. But I don't know if you'll get the payoff of where it's leading if you don't get into the other movies that come after it, and you might need the other movies to enjoy those. Maybe. I don't know. It sets stuff up that is definitely going to pay off in other movies. It might treat itself in such a way that if you skip them, you can still enjoy the show. But we don't know until it happens, so. Makes sense, makes sense. Okay, so assuming I color this, I am probably going to go with blonde hair instead of black hair. She has black hair in the comics. The show's blonde. The show's what everybody's talking about right now. But I'm going to give her the long hair that the comic book version has, just because I like drawing long hair. Something about all those curly cues is just way too satisfying to draw. Noted, Chantel. What's not the OG version, Chantel? Oh yeah, I know. But that's what I was saying. I'm kind of doing a mix of the movie or the show version and the comic book version. By the way, finding like decent pictures of Sylvie from the show was surprisingly difficult when I was making that ad. I actually have an action figure of her off to my side here that I'm using for her costume reference. So a big thing is I'm using the cape she has in the show, but the outfit underneath is going to be a bit closer to the comic. Why do you say that, Parker? Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool they did that. Yeah. So I'm getting rid of the boots, kind of like the comic book, but I'm gonna add straps and stuff, more like the TV show. Yeah, I kind of wondered if that's where you're headed with that. Yeah, that is definitely unfortunate. Parker, I agree. Working on another drawing for your challenge, Michelle? Oops. Yeah. Definitely sucks the fun out of it a little bit. It's crazy to think the month is going by that fast. What's today's theme? Fancy, fancy. What inspired the ballet dancer? Makes sense. Makes sense. Ballet dancer or any kind of dancer, I guess, really be a really good example of that. Good posing practice. What are you up to while you watch, Milan? Just chilling and watching? You working on something? Apparently on that topic, by the way, too, Parker, like, I don't think Chantel was being too serious, but about, like, Sylvie's hair color and stuff. Apparently, like, fans were kind of pissed off about that because it was it's like, oh, but she's supposed to be dark hair. How dare you? Okay. Like for tomorrow's clash, you mean? Okay. Took me a minute, and I was like, oh, right, Oliver. I actually think I really liked WandaVision a lot. But that fan thing, I think so many people were so set on their theories for that where that show was going that when it didn't happen, they acted like the writers fucked up, like they had cheated them somehow. And it's like, well, who said that's the best way to do it? That's just the way. That was just your guess. Oh, this. Yes, it is Lady Loki. Based a bit more, leaning a lot more into the comic book version of her, though. Oh, right, gotcha. Oh, but then people blew it, you mean, online talking about it? first episode of Wanda, it was hard to get through. See, that honestly is not like that was what made the show for me. It was the weirdness of it. Like some people acted like oh, why are they doing a sitcom? But of course there's more to it. Like just give it a chance. Hey JC. No, I loved those first two episodes. I was almost disappointed when it started acting more like a regular Marvel show. I like being different. Loki, I think, is my favorite of the Marvel shows, though. Which, by the way, I was not accepted because I mean I like Loki fine, and I like Tom Hiddleston as Loki, but I was never like obsessive with him like some people seem to be. And when they announced he was getting his own show, I was like, really, like what? Like that's what they're gonna? But I was very happy to be wrong. I liked all three of them. I think Winter Soldier was probably my least favorite of the three, but I did like it. I wasn't I'm not knocking the show, but if I had to categorize, Maybe I'll give her blonde hair with black roots. Maybe that's what I'll do. Split the difference. I think Bucky's arc was probably my favorite in the show, actually, as well. I liked Sam's arc, but you could sort of see it coming. You kind of probably predicted that even before you started watching it. Which isn't always a terrible thing, but I like being surprised. And I really like John Walker's arc, but I felt like the last bit could have been saved for the next season. But let's not elaborate on that because spoilers. Sounds like a very retro video game that we're hearing right now. For Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're doing a movie. I think they said they're doing another season as well. But there's another Captain America movie coming starring them, or starring Sam at least. I know Wanda's for sure just a limited series. Yeah, that's the sticky. And I mean, I know I brought that up myself. We might be premature to say that for sure, because they might handle it in such a way that you don't you'll be rewarded for having watched it, but you don't need to have watched it to understand it, and hopefully they figure out a way to make that work. But it is definitely a concern for me. Because if they're not careful, all their stuff's just gonna start becoming too inaccessible, and it won't matter if it's great. See, I feel like this is a known song. It's supposed to be royalty free, but I have skepticism. I'm looking forward to the shows they have coming up that aren't. Uh, they're like a little bit more. Well, I mean, depends on what story angle they go with. They might be just as tied to stuff we've seen as others, but like, character focusing on characters we haven't seen before, like She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and I think She-Hulk's gonna be pretty super cool. This guy, mean, I could see that. Um, or yeah, I guess Princess and the Frog for sure is kind of more what I have in mind. Oh, Black Widow. Yes, I have. Have you seen it yet, Parker? I didn't think you were gonna get to it anytime soon because of school and stuff, but okay. Are you excited to see Space Jam 2, Parker? I definitely want to watch it at some point. I want to give it a chance, but I'm not dying for it. I want to be more excited for it than I am, quite honestly. Yeah, I feel that. It was actually I kind of lost track of when Black Widow was coming out. So when it did, all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, and I like called a friend about going to see it, and it was a bit of a panic, worried that we weren't going to get to see it, and that was the concern, was because if we don't see it, um, right away, how long do we go before spoilers kick in? Oh, you didn't? Yeah, everyone thinks it's fair game, and some people are dicks about it too. Like if somebody spoils something and somebody calls them over, it's like, "Oh, it's your fault for not watching it." And like people have lives, man. Not everybody can watch everything the moment it comes out. Um, but good on you for. Okay, so here's the thing with Space Jam, right? When Space Jam came out, it had a lot of things going for it. There was kind of this new influx of Looney Tunes merchandise that was kind of coming out. Like a lot of people had like Looney Tunes binders and T-shirts and stuff. I had a lot of it as well, and I was already a fan and stuff because I love Looney Tunes in general. And then so there was that. Michael Jordan was riding high. NBA Jam was a big thing. And you didn't even have to be like a sports fan to know who Michael Jordan was, and he was in the Nike commercials with Bugs Bunny, just for this cross promotion kind of thing that became really popular. And so Space Jam was like the perfect storm, that first movie, and was really successful. And I feel like everybody my age has some nostalgia for when they saw it initially. But truthfully, being honest, it's not that good of a movie. I have nostalgia for it, and so somebody put it on, or I stumble on it, channel surfing or whatever. I actually own the movie as part of my animation collection. Um, I won't argue watching it, and I'll get some enjoyment out of it. But it's really not that good of a movie because like the plot to justify the Looney Tunes playing basketball is like super weird and contrived, and Looney Tunes never play basketball, not one of them. Like, so my guess is the uh, the Looney Tunes themselves will probably be pretty funny in it. Um, and so I think it'll probably be entertaining. I don't think you'll be. I don't think you'll hate watching it. And I haven't seen the new one, so who the hell knows? Maybe it'll be amazing. My guess is, or maybe it'll be terrible. My guess is it'll be an entertaining enough movie, but it's probably not. You're probably not gonna love it, but you probably won't hate watching it. It'll probably be a fun watch. I don't know if you said that before or after. I just kind of gave my Space Jam breakdown, Michelle, but I completely agree with you. So I think maybe a kid watching Space Jam for the first time now might have the same reaction that we did watching it in the 90s. But my thing is though, is in the 90s, we also were kind of set up to be excited for a Looney Tunes movie, and to see Michael Jordan on the screen. Because I was never a sports fan at all, but I knew who Jordan was. And I don't know if the same is true of LeBron, and I don't know if Looney Tunes are as prominent in the current zeitgeist as they were at the time. So I think that might hurt it as well, even if it technically is actually a better movie. But hey, Fox. Yeah, definitely a major product of it. I think Back in Action is the superior Looney Tunes movie, in my opinion. I think it is a solid homage to classic Looney Tunes, and the plot's ridiculous, but in a very kind of parody, kind of Naked Gunny kind of way. And I think I think it was fun, but and Joe Dante, who directed it, is a big fan of the classics, and I think it shows. And even if some of it's like recycled classic jokes, it's sort of like as an homage to it. It's fun. How you doing, Fox? That's true. I forgot you worked on that, Michelle. Yeah. Does it does it hurt a bit if a movie you worked on gets thrashed a bit? Because definitely not a reflection on your hard work. I think no matter what. No, I never did see Smallfoot. Pretty good, 500 words. Okay, I feel like got something confused, Parker. I thought you said you had never seen Space Jam. Oh, okay, gotcha. I don't really have an opinion on the new movie, obviously, until I've seen it. I'm just sort of predicting based on that original movie and wondering about box office because of everything else. I mean, the animation looked great. can't imagine. And actually, the animation is great in the original one as well. But I'd be the same way, Michelle. Devote that much time to it. You want to be good, even if its flaws aren't your fault. Again, haven't seen the movie. Hypothetically, whatever flaws it may or may not have, that's what I'm referring to. Okay. Is that a gig that you recently got, Fox? Okay. So, are you breaking it down for like the asides that they're going to use for auditions, or you're doing like almost like a synopsis to try to pitch to casting and stuff? Like, what is it? In what way are you breaking it down? Okay. Have they all been not great, or have you found a few that you liked? Gotcha. No, it's okay. Fine. We can handle two at a time. That's always frustrating as well when it's like a kind of a personal vendetta, especially because he's a basketball player, so you can get a lot of that toxic fandom going against it too. Yeah, that also. I've lost track. Where is the dot dot dot? Where's the awkward pause coming from, Fox? Oh yeah. Yeah. Also, on a similar note, something that has always frustrated me is even a bad movie will often have its merits, but people, not all people obviously, but some people just love to shit on things so much. They just love that negative energy that they don't want to give it its dues for that. And I've had that experience with like people where it's like talking about a movie that wasn't that great, and you're like, well, you know, at least this part was kind of cool, and like they just won't accept it. Like even something like the visual effects or the makeup or the costumes or something like that. Like I was actually kind of stoked that Suicide Squad won Best Makeup for Killer Croc. I didn't really like the movie. I didn't really like even their version of Croc, but I'm not going to take away the fact that there was some impressive makeup done there, whether it was my favorite design or not. And same thing with when the remake of the Wolfman won an Oscar for makeup as well. Totally. Gotcha. totally. It's a lot of it's over a lot. It is overacted. It's also like visually, I do love Bram Stoker's Dracula, but like it's super disjointed narratively. Like although there is some decent, like I don't mind Gary Oldman in it, and Anthony Hopkins is decent, but yeah, Keanu's terrible in it, and so's Winona. Carrie Elwes isn't doing so great in it either. It's also kind of why I'm not too into boycotting movies because somebody involved turned out to be an asshole. Because, yeah, I get not wanting to support that one person, but there are so many other people that put so much time and effort into making this thing. And why does their hard work have to get shafted? Because this one person was a shitty person? Are you thinking that would be okay? I think that role might be better suited for Cary Elwes. I don't think Cary Elwes is a bad actor, but I don't think he's like, I don't think his range is necessarily amazing either. I love Keanu, and I'll actually even defend him as an actor. But there are some stuff that no. I think that's true, Michelle. I think that's also too why like. If somebody, well, one, people are more eager to spread their negative opinion, I think, than their positive one, just in general. But then I think also, like, when, if somebody is talking about a movie that I liked and they didn't like, I might speak up and defend it. If they're talking about a movie that they liked and I didn't like, I tend to not, I won't like lie and pretend that I loved it, but I tend to not dive that much into it because I know that as soon as somebody says they don't like a thing, they can be like, oh my god, and they feel like they're stupid for not liking it. And I think that attitude is out there a lot, and I think it's because of that. I feel like critics sometimes are more interested in their catchy headlines than they are in actually like dissecting it sometimes, and because it makes them sound smart. And I feel like people in general are kind of like that. So I've kind of had that same opinion as well, Michelle. Yeah, it's very true. I don't know. I like Cary Elwes, and maybe I'm wrong to question his range. But like I said, I think I agree. He's definitely better suited for that. I just feel like he hasn't had the opportunity to stretch his legs that much in anything I've seen. So I can't be like, I don't look at him and think that he's definitely got the wider scope than Keanu. But I think definitely he's more suited for that no matter what. I still haven't read the book, but it's all told through letters, isn't it, Fox? Am I right? I'm trying to think what have I seen him in where he played a villain? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is similar to that as well. That one I have read. It's Letters by Frankenstein himself and Letters by the Monster. if I'm remembering right, I feel like Mary Shelley actually cited Stoker's approach to being an influence, but I could be wrong about that. Okay, it's bugging me. I know I've seen Elwes as a villain, but I'm not remembering what it is. Right. And he's sort of like a semi-antagonist in Liar Liar, although he's actually not a bad guy in that. That was the first thing I thought of, actually. Jim Carrey does that thing with his kid, where he's like, the claw! And then Carrey always tries to do it, and it's just so, like, lame. He's like, you're scared of the claw, aren't you? Well, he's like, I mean, he's victimized and you find out that he was cheating on his wife and stuff like that. So he's a bad guy in that he's not a good guy, but he's not like a villain per se. Is he in more than one? I thought he was only in the first one. You're a bad guy. Is he in Ella Enchanted? Who's he playing in Ella Enchanted? Oh, actually, wait, no, I'm thinking of Enchanted, not Ella Enchanted. Okay. I've seen Ella Enchanted, but it's been a long time. Hang on, Like, the music just died on us. These playlists are so short when I do it this way. Alright, I just tried. I use magic as my keyword. But the first live action Jungle Book you're talking about, Chantel? I forgot he was in that, but I do remember him in that now. Was he also in The Phantom? Now that I think of it, or am I making that up? The one with Billy Zane? Was that Yep the 90s one in reference to Jungle Book or to Phantom? That's what I assumed, but it had to be true. Oh, really? Wow. How young would she have been in that? She really is kind of a genre queen, hey, Lena Headey, because she's got, you know, Game of Thrones, obviously, Dread, 300, Sarah Connor Chronicles. She's in that new one that's on Netflix now that I'm really excited to see, Gunpowder Milkshake. I haven't watched it yet, but the trailer looks super fun. There's another sci-fi one that or fantasy one I'm forgetting too that she's really prominent in. Blanking offhand what it is, but. If we only knew back then. Who does she play in it? Like, is it a prominent role? I really want to watch Pleasantville again. I remember liking it quite a bit when I saw it, and it's one of my script options for my storyboarding class and stuff for their first assignment, and I haven't seen it in so long. But I'm reminded of it regularly because of that assignment, and I'm like, I really gotta watch this again. Isn't that directed by somebody really well known now too? Isn't it like James Mangold or somebody that did that? Nice. Am I right that it's Mangold? It's somebody of note, I'm pretty sure. Pleasantville was before Spider-Man, though. Although, after Spider-Man, I still don't know if he was typecast as an action star necessarily, but definitely didn't get... Pleasantville kind of was a comedy, too. Had some bigger themes, but it was definitely a comedy. Apparently Toby's not the nicest guy, though. I think that might be why he didn't act a ton after Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. An MTV Movie Award Best Kiss winner, Tobey Maguire. Okay, so I love Tropic Thunder, and when I watched that movie for the first time, I was super excited to watch it with my dad when it came out on Blu-ray and stuff, because he loves all the war movies that it's parodying and stuff like that, and I thought he'd get such a kick out of it. But those trailers, I think, just confused the shit out of him, and just completely destroyed his perception of the whole movie. He just did not get the whole "these aren't real trailers" thing. Tropic Thunder is another one that I've seen that one a bunch of times, but it's been a while. It's come up a few times recently. I'll watch that one again. Totally, I thought it was really good. But yeah, no, it was sort of like I kind of explained it to him before I pressed play. And it was like, and he was like, okay. And then when the Jack Black one comes on, and it's like, Jeff Portnoy. And my dad was like, oh, I thought that was Jack Black. I'm like, it is Jack Black, but he's playing. And then, yeah, it just kind of. It just set the tone for the whole viewing experience in not the best way. It's always good for a laugh, for sure, yeah. And it's sort of like, you know, it's got the really broad kind of slapsticky comedy, but it's also like a really smart movie as well, especially when you're like really into the industry, whether like professionally or just as an interest. Like the way they skewer how the whole thing works is pretty great. It makes sense being written by somebody that literally grew up in Hollywood as well. Tom Cruise showed he can be a really solid comedic actor as well. I've killed that which I love most. Oh my god, you killed a hooker. Yeah, I know. And it, and now maybe this is me romanticizing it because maybe I'm not remembering it right. But if I'm remembering right, they were pretty successful in hiding the fact that he was in it, weren't they? Like, wasn't it a big surprise for everybody when they watched the movie and they were just like, wait, is that Tom? Is that Tom Cruise? Like, that's my memory of it, but I might be romanticizing it. Maybe I did know going in he was in it. So hard to pull that off now. Although, talking about Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man. Okay, so the rumor is that him and Andrew Garfield are going to appear in the new Spider-Man movie as like multiverse versions of themselves, and I think it's really likely that they're going to, but they've been denying it the entire time and stuff. And my money is on just cameos. My guess is they're going to be in it, but it'll just be cameos. But I gotta say though, if they turn out to be significant parts, then I am very impressed with how well they've kept that a secret. Okay, spot blacks, and then I'm gonna do some other shit with Croki there, Croki. This music makes me think of some of the slower moments from Superman. Yeah. I saw a thing saying that somebody claimed that they were like co-leads, and I thought, okay, cameos, maybe you keep that under wrap. Co-leads, that's, I don't see how you pull that off. If they're coming to set that frequently, how do you keep that away from people? And then I think I saw something claiming that a toy release kind of spoiled that they actually are in it, and that doesn't necessarily mean co-leads. But I started thinking like, wow, like no matter how the movie turns out, they deserve a medal for that, keeping that under wraps if that turns out to be legit. We were talking about Crystal Skull for a while back, and that was something that I think that you know, no matter what you think of the movie, I think that Marion reveal would have been pretty cool if they managed to keep that hidden. And I think that was their goal, and then somebody blew it, so then they released it at Comic-Con or something, or like just to get ahead of it. With Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, I feel like you kind of like, he's such a notorious like megastar type personality that you could almost hide away any time spent on set by the fact that he's like, oh no, he's just visiting or something like that, you know? Especially because that movie has so many cameos. Or even if you predicted, like, okay, Tom Cruise probably has cameo, you wouldn't expect it to be that cameo. Plus, all of his scenes were all probably close sets and stuff, too. No, me too, Fox. But I know we're not always in the majority there, so I always like to throw out that disclaimer. Kind of like we were saying before, when someone doesn't like a movie, sometimes they just want to talk about how they don't like it, and you're not allowed to mention something else about it. So I needed the disclaimer. That's true, Chantel, actually, yeah. Should be ironic, because he was playing a producer. Fairly sure he was modeled after Harvey Weinstein as well. Before all of Weinstein's Weinsteinisms became public. this off camera a little bit. I don't know what that noise was about. Just felt like it needed to happen. By the way, guys, on Thursday's stream, I'm going to do this month's character design challenge, which the theme is wrestlers, and I had an idea that I was kind of excited for, and not one but two entries have kind of beaten me to the gag, so I have no idea what I'm still going to do it, but I have no idea what it's going to be yet. So you might watch me squirm live if I don't figure something out before 8:30 on Thursday night. Going to the dentist tomorrow. That'll be interesting. Haven't been there in a lot longer time than I should have been. That you need to go to the dentist? Is that what it reminded you of, Chantal? Since I aged out of my parents' plan, I have gone a few times, but not regularly like I once did. And I won't get into specifics because it's kind of gross, the specifics. But I kind of had a realization that it was time to go. And now, because of that, it's probably the first time in my life I've actually been excited to go to the dentist. I don't think I have anything seriously wrong. I just kind of had a bit of an awakening about how long it's been. I don't think I take bad care of my teeth or anything like that, but definitely, no matter how good you are at taking care of your teeth, I think there's benefits to going regularly. Well, that's the main thing that has kept me from going with it regularly, because it's not cheap, right? And I know that once I aged out, my parents paid for me to go at least once, just because they were worried about me not going. And I know I paid for myself to go at least once. But that's still, but even if there was some extra times in there, it's still not as frequently as it should have been. Me neither. Yeah, no, I had my wisdom teeth removed also, but never had a cavity or anything. I always liked pop, but I never was like a mega pop drinker. Pretty sure I still have my wisdom teeth in a Dixie cup somewhere, by the way. Actually, you know what? I had another tooth pulled as well. It was a baby tooth that just wasn't coming out, and the adult tooth was coming in. It was kind of like pushing it in this weird. It was growing in a weird way because the baby tooth wouldn't get out of its way, so they had to pull that. Both times, though, it was a relatively painless experience altogether. I've never had. Sorry to hear that, Michelle. I've never had candy here. They're a little sensitive to like really cold stuff. Like I can never bite into ice cream like some people do. I don't understand how anybody can do that. Uh, so how does that result? Because I'm only vaguely clear what a root canal even is. So how the kick in the face result in that exactly, Michelle? Ouch. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Okay. My mom always said she regretted not getting me braces when I was a kid. I don't think my teeth are actually that bad in terms of straightness. And like it's not a there's no issue there. It's only if you want to be picky and cosmetic about it. Um, but I really don't think they're that. I think my mom's never been thrilled with her own teeth, and my dad's got much straighter teeth. And so they're just like, I should have fixed this for my son, but I'm really not bothered by it at all. How long did you have those fucks? You know, weirdly enough, I don't even know if I know anybody that had braces when I was growing up. If I knew anybody, just... Okay. Okay, here's something. Curious if this happened to anybody with when they got their wisdom teeth out. So my wisdom teeth luckily came out pretty easily, so it wasn't a big deal. But the one inconvenience and annoyance came with it was, you know, they said eat soft food. So we had spaghetti that night, and the noodles got stuck in the holes in the back of my mouth where the teeth had been, and I had to actually use the spray nozzle on the kitchen sink to get it loose. It was the only thing that would work. Some people only have to do it like really short period of time. Other people, it's like a huge part of their young life. So I'm not the only one. I remember talking to one other person at the time that said the same thing happened to them, but I don't know if I'd ever asked other people before that or after that. Yeah, mine came out easily, but I've heard that some of them, the roots are just so entangled that it's a whole nightmare to get them out. Ah. It's a weird feeling. Did it hurt while it was coming out, Chantel, or only afterwards? Because I remember, like, the weirdest thing is, like, because they numb it so well that you really don't feel the, in my case anyway, you really didn't feel the pain, but you could feel the little pieces of like root cracking and breaking, and that was really fucking weird. I was, actually, you know what, I was done high school, but not long out of high school. Was either in art school or just after I finished. I was probably like 19, maybe 18, 19, somewhere around there, maybe 20. I don't know, probably 20 at the oldest. Thanks, Parker. See you next time. Ah, that sounds rough, Fox. Is there something up with your wisdom teeth, Michelle, that they're doing it now? Okay, see, yeah, I got all 4 of mine at the same time. Oh wow, that makes sense, Fox. Just wasn't how much I got caught up on you. Also, by the way, I think I'm done. Actually, wait, let's just add a little bit of scribbly texture in there. Alright, yep, I think I'm calling it. There we go. Yeah, well, I'm probably cheaper too. Although I was under my parents' plan still at the time. I just realized I forgot. Actually, if I was still in my parents' plan, I must have only been 18 at the oldest. Because I think after 18, I probably would have aged out. Thanks, Michelle. Oh, gotcha. But is that something like that they recommend you get them out anyway? Like if they're still not causing problems, then why? Okay, so maybe I did have it longer. I can't remember. Thanks, Fox. But anyway, yeah, we're done. Really wanted to do Sylvie / Lady Loki because she was cool, and then I thought I was gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be so clever doing the giant crocodile version of it. And a little bit of Peter Pan vibes and stuff, but then quite a few other people did that before I got to it, so I don't know that it's super original, but it was a fun one to draw. Okay, understood. Next week, okay, so I still have a couple on my request list that I was taking a bit of a break from, and I want to get back to them, and I actually just got a new request, actually from Parker a couple days ago. But next week I'm going to do one more of my own. I was actually queued up to do, or another fan art one, but of my own request. I was actually queued up, I had the ad made and everything to do it, last week. And then I realized, like, actually wait, I should do Black Widow, because it's kind of topical, and then I wanted to do Loki, because it's kind of topical. So now, I'm finally going to bounce back to the other one. Which I won't, I'll maybe drop a hint on Monday again, but it's a comic book, but a lesser known comic book, a little bit more underground. Lewis the Loki Croc, isn't it, Croki? Isn't that what they call him? But anyway, I'll be back on Thursday for once I figure out what the hell I'm gonna do for this wrestler challenge, and maybe I'll see you then. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.